Hi, this is Patricia Stepler with Your Dream Power. Did you realize that you have hidden powers inside of you? And that if you think you can do something, you can. Anything you really want to do, you can accomplish. Now, some people say, well, no, you can't because there's certain things you don't have the talent for. Well, I suggest that if you don't have the talent or the ability for something, you probably aren't going to be given that desire. I know I talked to somebody not too long ago. She's a blind skier. And I said, that's something I never had the desire to do. I never had the desire to go skiing. And I don't think I have the talent for it or the ability. And so it's never been a burning desire for me. But when you get a burning desire, then you have the ability that you can accomplish that also. So your actions that you do will speak louder than your words. And that's the subject for today. So I'm going to share with you how people have used these hidden powers in the past. And I have several books I want to refer to. The one is called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And in The Power of the Subconscious Mind, they talk about how people have used these inside powers to help to heal themselves. And even some of them, there's stories in there how one person could be sending thought waves out to somebody else, and all of a sudden they get a cure for their disease. Now, I'm not saying not to go to your doctor, but I'm saying that you have enormous power inside of you. I know when my dad had cancer, that he used the power of his mind to shrink the tumor that he had. And it was all in his thinking. So I know that you can do things like that to help cure yourself. There's also in one of my favorite books, The Science of Getting Rich, there's a story in here about a man who could never see himself in the home that he wanted. And he started to use the powers of his inside voices and his inside thinking to design the kind of home he wanted. And before long, he was living in that home and it was his. He was no longer renting it, it became his. So there's all kinds of stories that you have about how you can attract the good that you want. So most people are unaware that they have this ability, but I want you to think of a time when you wanted something very badly. And let's just think about a car. So often when we want a car, we decide on the model, the make, perhaps even the color that we want. And we start thinking about it. And maybe we go and test drive it. And before you know it, we see those cars all over the place. And then you actually figure out a way to purchase a car. I know one time we were thinking of taking a cruise with our family and bringing our kids along. And of course, that was quite expensive. We made a decision to do it. And once we made a decision, then we were able to attract everything we needed and to, acquire the funds to take our kids on the cruise. So everything that you want, you have the power of thought that you can begin to attract to you what you want. Now, the one thing that you really need to add into that is emotion. You see, you have to see yourself having accomplished it with the emotion that you're going to feel. So you have a goal, you set the goal, you figure out how you're going to feel when you have accomplished it, and then picture yourself in that situation. See yourself with people talking to you, congratulating you on your accomplishment, seeing the joy in your family's eyes when you've accomplished that goal. And that way you start to believe that you can be there. And then eventually you start to take the inspired action. You see, sometimes we think we just need to take one action after another, after another, after another. And that's how we find success. Well, you will find success, but it's generally temporary. When you learn to use the power of your mind and to be able to attract the good in your life by first visualizing it and then feeling yourself there in that particular spot, it becomes easier and you take actions that are inspired and you never feel like, oh, this is something I have to do. It's something that you're inspired to do, and you're able to communicate those feelings and that vibration and energy to other people. And you start to attract those people into your lives. And you have to really realize that when James Allen said, "We become what we think about all day long," it's true. You become what you think about all day long. And the more you can think about your life as you want it to be, the better off it will become. And so it becomes almost like a game you can play with your mind. You see, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So when you see yourself in an imagined state, the subconscious mind begins to believe it is true and then just figures out how to make that become a reality. You know, my friend and mentor, Bob Proctor, would say, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. And that's true. You can hold it in your hand when you see it in your mind. And think of yourself as an inventor, inventing that. So you think thoughts. Thoughts are strong and powerful, and they have a lot of energy behind them. So every thought is full of energy. As Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, thoughts are things. So if thoughts are things, what you become in harmony with, then you start to have a very positive emotion about it. And that's a way you can judge. Is this a good thing or not? When you feel very positive and joyous, you know that you're on the right track. When you feel that you're thinking negative thoughts, you'll feel that by not feeling good. So if you wake up in the morning and you're just feeling really lousy, chances are you were thinking negative thoughts that you were not in harmony with all through the night, because your mind never shuts down. So what I want you to think about is, what can I do? How do I feel today? What can I do to change my thought patterns, to change the vibration so that I become the person I want to be? And I'd suggest you reach out to me and, book an appointment. I'll send you my calendar link, and I'll see you when you become the magic of the inside you. This is Patricia Stepp with your Dream Power.